Let's go! Name's Rogers Base, got me the Willity. Rapid Sabo Charizard, Mirror know me. While I'm watching One Piece, you're crying over Butterfree. Keep my bars PG, we Disney.
What's going on, guys? I'm JP here, and I'm back with another Legend Breakdown. In today's Legend Breakdown, we're going to be talking about none other than the King of Pirates himself, GOL D. Roger. And in this Legend Breakdown, we're going to be talking about this character's captain ability, his special ability, what are some characters that I would recommend running on him, some things that I like and dislike about this unit, and do I think this unit is the best legend in the game. So without further ado, let's talk about Roger. So Roger's captain ability is to nullify, remove beneficial effects, and remove accumulated value effects once per adventure. He's going to boost the attack of all characters by 4.5x and their HP by 1.3x, and he's going to remove the spare duration completely. And if you use a special Divine Departure on Roger, he's going to boost the attack of all characters by 5x instead for 3 turns. And his special ability is to deal 1 million fixed damage to all enemies that will ignore damage negating abilities, barriers, normal attack only, and boost the attack of all characters depending on the amount of normal damage dealt before a special was activated. And this scales from 2 times attack boost to 2.5x to 3 times attack boost. And when you do over 3 million damage, which is really easy, 3 million plus damage, you get the 3x attack boost. So really easy stuff to get high attack boost on Roger. The database also forgot to mention, when you pop Roger special, you also extend the duration of orb boosts that are already in place, which is really nice. And Roger is a super type captain, and his super type special is activated when you have either these characters on your crew: Odin, Rayleigh, Whitebeard, Shanks, Buggy, Inuarashi, Nekomamushi, or Ace. And his super type ability is to change all orbs, including block orbs, into matching orbs, and then he's going to lock orbs for 1 turn, and then he's going to change all side characters into super side characters. So a really strong character overall. His sailor abilities, if you're interested, are to boost the base attack of HP, attack HP and RCV of all characters by 100, and he's going to change all color orbs into benefit. He's going to make all color orbs beneficial for himself. So that's Roger's abilities. So what are some characters that work really well with him? Well, some characters that I would recommend personally, first off, are some characters that fulfill his super type condition. On the graphic you see there are 4 characters, but there's plenty of characters that you can use overall. But the ones that I would definitely recommend if you have is Odin. I didn't put him twice on the infographic because I already have him under orb boosters, but Odin is definitely a must-have character for Roger. He is extremely valuable for Roger, and we'll talk about why a little bit later. But some characters I would definitely recommend are Shank's crew if you don't have Roger, well, or even if you don't have Odin, but he still works as well with the 2. Shank's crew, amazing character overall. He gives a 1.5 attack boost whenever you swap, which is really nice for early stages, for 5 stages against bosses, against content. He also provides adjacent orbs whenever you swap, which is really great. And he also provides a 3.5 chain lock for 3 turns, which is really amazing. And he's also a side character, so he would get the super side boost. We have the new Rayleigh, who's a fantastic character. He removes 5 turns of percent damage reduction and 5 turns of threshold damage reduction, and he also gives a 2x color affinity boost for psi and strength characters, which is really great. We have Stampede Buggy, who is a fantastic character. He removes 5 turns of paralysis, silence, and attack down on your crew, which is really fantastic. And then we have Imp Rayleigh, who is a pretty old unit, but a really great unit as well. He removes 7 turns of bind, despair, and paralysis, and his sailor ability also reduces his own cooldown whenever you use a special, so you're able to get off that special multiple times in a run. And some other characters that I didn't list on the infographic I made that you can use are Neko and Inu, the V2 Coliseum Inuarashi, Legend Whitebeard Marco, the Kizuna Clash Buggy, who's going to be coming out soon on Global, but is already out on the Japanese version. And we have Halloween Buggy. All of these characters are also really fantastic characters that you can use and would work pretty well on Roger. Some better than others, but they get the job done. So, some orb boosters that I would personally recommend on a Legend Roger team are none other than Odin himself. He is probably the best character that works on the Roger team. He's gonna give the whole crew strength orbs, and those strength orbs are gonna be automatically changed to Wano orbs, and you're gonna get a 2.5x boost for your free spirit, strength, and slasher characters, which is really great. And not Roger. Odin also has a crewmate ability, so whenever a slasher or free spirit character uses a special, he gets his cooldown reduced. So he works very similar to Rayleigh, so you can probably pop off Odin's special relatively quickly and possibly multiple times a run fairly simply just by using your specials. The next character we have is V3 Law, and V3 Law is a fantastic character for Roger. He gives a 2.25 orb boost for 2 turns, and he also will boost the chain to 2.5x for 2 turns as well, which you can also stack with chain boost as well, which will give you extremely high damage. And the orb and chain boost combination works well for Roger because you have the orb and attack boost, the orb and chain boost, and then you have Roger's attack boost, which will just do extremes amount of damage, which is pretty crazy. Another character that I would recommend is a free-to-play character, and they are the Kainu and Kuzaru unit. They're a 2.75x orb booster for slasher and driven characters, which is our highest orb booster on the recommended ones right now. But they're also really great because their swap ability removes silence, so when you are inflicted by Sailor Despair, this is a fantastic unit to use in order to remove that Sailor Despair. You can also use another unit such as Sanji and Nami. That TM unit is also a fantastic unit which provides a 2x orb boost for free spirit and fire characters, which will work well for Roger, who is a free spirit character. And they are also Psy, so they'll get the Psy super type boost. And in their swap ability, they change negative orbs into matching orbs, which is really great. And the final orb booster that I'm going to recommend to you guys is the Germa Legend that came out with Luffy, Sanji, and the Sweet Commanders. They're a fantastic legend. They give a 2-turn 2.25 orb boost, and they'll swap to the captain, and they will provide they'll become a 5x captain for your team, so works really well with Roger. Double 5x, you have the 3x attack boost, and then you have a rainbow captain similar to Bullet, which is really powerful. They also have a super type ability that provides orb block and also a chain boost, which is very similar to the Sanji Judge swap ability, which is really great overall. So Germa is definitely a legend that shouldn't be slept on when making a Roger team. But some utility units that I would recommend to run on a Roger team are none other than Legend Chopper, who removes 5 turns of most of the prevalent debuffs: Bind, Despair, Paralysis, Burn, Poison, and Attack down. So really amazing legend overall. Definitely would recommend. They also provides 3 turns of healing, which can be really great for Roger teams. We also have Ivanka Bon Clay, who works very similar to Chopper, who removes Bind, Despair, and in their swap ability, they remove Paralysis. They also remove all Poison and all Blindness, which is really great. And they also provide 5 turns of healing, which is really amazing. And in their swap ability, they also reduce damage taken by 20%, I believe, which is fantastic. Next character we have up is Summer Robin, who is an amazing character as well. She removes 5 turns of the shields, which are increased defense, percent damage reduction, and threshold, which is really great. She also will change all of your orbs to the orb that she has, which is really nice utility. So if you have a matching orb, you can really get full matching orbs just by using their special, which is really fantastic. And another character that's just a general character you can use on almost any team is TS Nami, just a fantastic character overall. Remove 5 turns of paralysis and also 5 turns of silence, which is really great in a lot of situations. And 2 characters that I didn't add on the graphic list, but I would definitely recommend if using them, potentially if you have them, are Legend Puddin. Legend Puddin's a fantastic character, able to store your buffs that you want to use, and then you can use them on the following turn. So really great if you want a hybrid Roger. You can use put in the store Roger's 3x attack boost, and then bring it back whenever you want to use it again, which is really nice. And then you'll get your cooldowns reduced, and you can also change block orbs as well with her special, which is really great. And then we have V2 Shirahoshi Mancherry, who is a fantastic character on the Japanese version. They remove so many debuffs. Their swap ability also removes Bind, Despair, and Slot Bind, which is really incredible as well. And then they also, in their swap ability, provide the chance to overheal. So with their special, you can heal, you can 2x, you can max your HP 2 times, which is really incredible. And then you get rainbow orbs as well as a chain boost, which is really exciting. So those characters are all really great, and I would definitely recommend using them. But these are not the only characters you can use on Roger, but these are like some of the best ones in my opinion. So that being said, let's talk about some things that I do really like about Roger. So Roger is, in my opinion, really fantastic. I love the fact that he counters interrupts and accumulated value counters. This is really great, especially for newer players, but it's also really great for seasoned and veteran players, because now when there's content where there's an interrupt, it's like, oh, I just bring Roger, he'll deal with it, which is really great. We're able to finally use orb boosts on Kalogikumari, which wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it's just nice being able to freely use boosts. And it's really great, especially for newer players, because newer players probably don't have as many units and don't have as much experience with the game as older players, so they'll have to go back and farm older content first and then have to play newer content, which can be a bit tedious. But and they'll have to wait several months, or they'll have to wait a couple days, depending on how much time they spend buying the characters in the arena. But, well, yeah, buying them to play the arena. But anyways, Roger just negates all that, and it just makes it more streamlined, makes it more easier to take care of newer content, as well as focusing on older content, which can be a bit difficult if you don't have certain characters, especially for newer players. So it's really great overall, Roger's abilities, because it just makes team building more easier for newer players and just for older players as well. And it also brings back some viability to some legends that have like the accumulated special abilities, like Puddin, also like Luffy Zoro of V2 Katakuri, V2 Doflamingo, and V1 Mihawk. These characters will now be able to be viable again for the most time, because these characters usually aren't too viable, but now with Roger's ability, these characters are now more viable, and can be more viable if there aren't like certain effects up, like normal attack only. So that's also a really great thing as well about Roger. And another thing I really like about Roger is he has a extremely easy condition for the 3x attack boost. Like, I would have been fine if his 3x attack boost condition was only for the damage that he dealt, but like for the entire crew is just extremely easy, and there's no issues with that at all. And also the fact that he makes a lot of orb boosters more viable. The fact that he extends orb duration by a turn is just extremely great, making a lot of like 2-turn orb boosters that you might want to use on like stage 4. You can use them on stage 4 and then use Roger's special. They become a 3x orb boost, and then you'll have that orb boost on the final stage, which is really great. Really great for like 1-turn orb boosters as well on the final stage, especially if there's a boss that one revives and also like has a like clears buffs. With Roger, you can negate the clear buff, you can keep the orb boost, and then you have an orb boost for the revival stage, which is really fantastic. I love that about Roger. Really great on those abilities, and I praise Bandai for what they did with making this character. But there are some things that I dislike about Roger. One, I am not a fan of his super type requirements. They are, in my opinion, a bit overwhelming because there's such a underwhelming amount of characters that are going to be both viable, really useful for Roger, and also fit in Roger's super type requirement. I know that Odin is a new character and Crocus doesn't have too many characters, and that they will potentially in the future get more characters, especially Odin, who has a lot of god tier scenes in the Wano arc. But he Roger super type requirement characters are just like too limited. There, when I was looking up how many characters that I believed were like a bit viable for Roger, there was only like 20 or so characters that I thought, yeah, I would actually use this on a Roger team, and that's just a bit unfortunate in my opinion. Like, I wish that these characters were more spread out, so, and that they just were more helpful, because a lot of these characters aren't like too great for Roger. For example, Shanks V2, he's a attack booster, and it's a bit of redundant to bring him on a Roger team just because Roger's already an attack booster. You can probably get a better chain boost or a better chain lock curve from another character, so it's just a lot of redundancy with a lot of the super type requirements. We have the Neko and Inu characters, which are usually striker and cerebral based, but since Roger isn't one of those classes, they just end up not being too great for Roger overall. And like, even the new Neko and Inu, I don't think are too great overall as characters. You will definitely probably be using different characters, especially after those world cruise is over. You're probably going to be using like Chopper and Ivanka Bonclay and characters like that nature that are a bit more higher caliber, in my opinion, to clear debuffs for Roger. But hopefully they just make better units that fit Roger's super type and are just work better with Roger overall. That will make him a much better legend. I mean, will like help him out with his issues. Another issue that Roger has is that his clear buff ability doesn't clear special limiter, which is counted as a buff, which is a bit unfortunate, especially on Dofi 2, which is a pretty difficult piece of content, and having the special limiter really like hurts like the amount of like teams that you can actually use to clear Dofi 2. Like, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's super restrictive, at least on Dofi 2, and hopefully in the future with the clear buff mechanic that Roger has, it doesn't affect like the team limitations that you can do on other pieces of content, which would be a bit unfortunate. And then also, the interrupt clear can also be countered really easily by Bandai just by adding more interrupts, like a turn 1 interrupt and whatnot, which would make it a bit more difficult for Roger, but I'm sure that he can clear the content regardless. But yeah, that's it with all the things that I dislike about Roger. And now we're here for the grand question of it all. Do I think Roger is the best legend on One Piece Treasure Cruise? So, on the global version, I definitely don't think there's any competition. On the Japanese version, however, I think there is definitely competition. For me personally, Big Mom Kaido is still the best legend in the game. They're they're not universal, they're triple color, 5x attack booster, flat out all the time. Their versus abilities are really unique, and especially Big Mom's, and they stack up really well against Roger overall. They have about the same clear rate, they have about the same clear times. They provide 2 buffs, the attack and orb boosts themselves, which is really powerful. They have great orb manipulation. There's some things that Roger definitely does better, but there are also things that Big Mom and Kaido do better, especially in terms of speed clearing. I would say Kaido is definitely like better than Roger in terms of speed clearing, especially unless there's content that's like more geared towards Roger, such as the Raid Luffy Taro event that's up right now. Definitely more geared toward Roger, so he has the crazy advantage. But the fact that Kaido has -7 cooldowns, if you have like a -1 cooldown ship, max specials, and then double Kaido, he's easily gonna be one of the fastest legends for clearing content. So I definitely think that the Big Mom Kaido, both of them have more advantages in my opinion, and more flexibility in terms of team building that I greatly value over most things. So I definitely give them the cake for the best legend in the game, in my opinion, on the Japanese version. But Roger is a close second, in my humble opinion. But that's it for me in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think about Roger, and if you have any suggestions on how to improve these videos in the future. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.